Okay, so welcome to my another interview today with a passionate traveler who I met on my travels as well. And I was back in Bali in October 2018. So we've known each other now for 2 years. Exactly 2 years ago, I was with this beautiful lady who is originally from Kenya, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were together snorkeling and exploring Bali and other islands, and we were having so much fun. so welcome to our interview. What I've learned about Kush, apart from her being similar to me in a way that she has two brothers, I have two brothers, so we have like similar problems in this area, or not problems, but similar situations, let's say. And what I've learned about you, Kush, and welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming and being here. Thank you for sharing your journey. So what I learned about you is that when the corona hit, like you hit your yoga practice, like you started posting videos. I remember that you were asking me like, Lenka, can you teach me yoga? And that time I was actually like, I was trying to figure out my way, like if I was going to teach online or not. So I was not really sure what was going to happen, but you were asking like, can you teach me? And then next moment, I see like you posting videos, you posting positions, you posting. I was like, what's happened to this girl? Like, is she having like a professional teacher or something? So tell us a little bit about your journey. Like, how did you start? Why did you start? And yeah, tell us, what would you recommend to the new, like somebody who is completely new to yoga?
Yeah, thank you, Lenka. I'm so excited to speak to you here on this platform. I mean, we're speaking after quite a long time. The last time we met was in 2018, and it was a very short time, but it was really interesting how we clicked immediately. Yeah. And the most interesting part is I met you through my brother. And yeah, that makes it very special.
The brother connection.
The brother connection, exactly. And you're an amazing person. So I am glad to meet you. Guys, she's a very amazing person with a beautiful heart. So you should try and connect with her. She has a lot to teach, a lot of good energy to pass. So yeah, I feel lucky that I got to meet a beautiful soul like her.
Thank you so much.
About yoga. I will be honest, the first time I heard about yoga, I kept hearing about yoga and I always thought yoga was just close your eyes, be in that lotus position, and that's all. That's about it. But after I met Lenka in Bali, she told me about her Instagram page. I went through her Instagram page and I was so impressed. And that's where it started. At least in my head, that's where it started. Not physically, but that's where I was like, wait, I should start. I should ask her how she started and maybe I should follow her journey. But like she said, she was still trying to figure out how she should go about this journey. So then in 2018, when I came back, and I will not lie to you, it was difficult for me in the beginning because you start, maybe you take one class online and then you are demotivated and probably discouraged because you can't even do most of the poses that the tutor can do. But then that's how it started with me. And I wasn't very consistent in the beginning. That's in 2018. I probably did it twice or thrice maximum. But in 2020, this is when Corona hit, especially in Kenya when we went in lockdown. And I started working from home from March 2020. That's when I realized that I needed something because I needed the peace. I mean, we were in such a chaos. This entire world was in chaos. So I went online and I just randomly started searching for yoga classes, and I found this yoga link. It's called Yoga Download. You should totally check it out. They're really nice class, which is very helpful. And that's where I started my journey. And this I heard from one of my colleagues at work, and she passed it on to me. So I started with a yoga challenge for 14 days. And yes, I will not lie to you, it was very difficult for me in the beginning. And especially like when I watched someone do a few poses and I couldn't do, but what really touched me was the peace and the calmness I felt from that class. It was so good that I even forgot about wait, why can't I do this pose, or why can't I be like this person? So the first advice I will give you: don't compare yourself to anyone. You are different, you are special in your own unique way, and just follow your heart and your mind, and you will get through this journey. So when I started, it was really nice. And the interesting part is that when I started doing some of the poses, it took me, I will not even lie to you, it took me like a month to get into more of the poses. So I started with like very beginners yoga, where you just do most of the vinyasa. And then later, I was like, wait, I want to try a headstand because I see Lenka can do a headstand. And she used to post a lot of pictures of her doing the headstand in India. I remember this very well.
I remember
So
too.
I noticed, oh, and you first started uh, putting your legs against the wall. I'm like, yeah, that can't be difficult. I can do it too. Yeah, and when you see someone do something, always have that in your mind that you can do it too. It shouldn't, like, you shouldn't be discouraged because of your size, or because maybe you feel like you're not flexible. Don't be discouraged because of such kind of factors. You can do everything. It's possible. So always have that kind of positivity in your mind. So I started a headstand against the wall, and then after a few days, I'm like, wait, I think I can start moving from the wall, and let me try to balance on my own. And yes, I will not lie to you, I fell. I fell a couple of times, not once, not twice. I fell many times, but that is what got me to where I am today. Falling, but practicing more, practicing, and that's where I got where I am today. And another interesting part about my yoga journey is I never went for a yoga class. It was all self-taught. So the more I practiced, the more I noticed the changes in my body, and the more motivated I got. Whenever I saw the changes in my body, and not only my body, my mind as well. I started practicing mindfulness, and I started feeling the peace within myself. And yeah, it's beautiful. That's all I can say. It's really beautiful. Yeah. So,
Wow.
but thank Lenka.
I didn't know this part, Kush. So you kept that quiet. I didn't know that I inspired you to actually do handstands or headstands, or just I honestly didn't know. So I feel so honored, and I love this ripple effect, because when Corona started, like we all started doing a lot more of the home activities. And yes, I remember that I was actually posting a lot of handstands. I was really practicing, because I used to sit down a lot, and it actually helps my spine when I'm upside down. It just, something happens that also when I need to think a lot, like I had a pretty stressful job at the time, which was actually what's the word, transferring people around the world and organizing the travels and everything, and the world stopped. So it was like, what do we do? Nobody knew. Like it was a mess. So that's why it's really helped me with thinking sharp, having clarity, relaxing my back and my spine. And yeah, I'm so honored. And where can we find you? On Instagram.
Okay. I can, Lenka, maybe you could just share my page on this chat.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah. And if you want to find me physically, you can find me in Nairobi, Kenya. You are most welcome. It's a beautiful country, and not only Kenya. So I'm basically both Kenyan and Tanzanian. So whichever you choose, you are most welcome. You know, at least now you know someone who comes from there. Happy to host you, and yes, we can practice yoga together. Nairobi, Kenya.
Oh, that would
You
be
are most welcome.
amazing. That would be so nice. And I'm planning to come and see you. And I really want to share with our viewers and everyone who's watching a little bit of where we met and what a beautiful place that was. So if you don't mind, I have something prepared and I'd like to share it with our audience. So we met in a place that looked like this. Okay, let me screen share. It's so stunning that I still can't believe I was so lucky to be there.
I know.
Look at this.
It feels like it was yesterday.
It's just unbelievable, isn't it?
Yep.
I'm gonna share another one. So this was a small island called Gili Travancan, where it's one of very few islands in the world where people don't have cars and they don't have roads. So there is no pollution from this aspect. And it's just unbelievable. Look at this sunset. And this is me on the swing, by the way.
Yep, it's you.
That was so nice. And let me show you another one. Because we did some adventurous stuff, right? So we had a lot of fun. And I found this clip where we went snorkeling. And can you believe that actually Bali and this place, this exact spot was the very first time that I went snorkeling. So yes, you can even start adventure activities in your 30s. Here we go. These it's a bit shaky, but it's my very first time. And that's our little group. So there was our friend from Chile, I think. Yeah. And the very last one that I would like to show is actually a very last time we saw each other in person. And I can't wait to see you again, Kush Boo. So let's have some memories. This was before you flew away.
Yeah, I remember that day.
Oh.
It was a sad moment.
You guys come to Africa? All right, man. Nice. Don't forget to go to South America.
Say goodbye. Bye bye.
And your two beautiful brothers, which I also have in my heart deeply because we spent amazing time together. And I remember that I think one of your brothers was a bit upset with me, like, why am I still recording? I'm like, one day you're going to thank me for this video. Because they're really beautiful memories. And we had such a great time. You came with your friend Jamila, and we still plan to go to Somalian beaches because she claims they're the most beautiful.
You remember that?
Yes.
It's very impressive.
Yes, I do. It was absolutely amazing. And I would like to ask you, Kush, so do you practice yoga every day, or how often do you practice?
I practice yoga every day. Sometimes I get so busy, but I make sure I get at least, even if it's 20 minutes in a day, I must practice. So yeah, I can't sleep if I haven't practiced yoga. And it's very addictive in a good way.
Did you have any like misconceptions about yoga before? I mean, you've mentioned it's not all the sitting in lotus and being in peace, but was there something that was maybe stopping you from starting earlier, or what was it? How was it?
I think it was because of comparing myself to others. When I see people posting those difficult poses, which are really not difficult, I will be honest with you, it just all comes with practice. But when I saw that, I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure my body is not meant for this kind of poses. But the moment I started yoga is when I felt like, no, it's nothing about the body. It's nothing about how you feel on the inside. It's all about practice and how you feel. If you see it, you feel it, you have it. That's all I can say.
You explained it so beautifully, because a lot of people, they tell me like, oh, but you are so flexible, you're this and that. For example, men, they feel intimidated to practice with you. That's why I'm trying to get my partner to teach, or like at least share the awareness, because it's not about how it looks. This is the thing that we have to overcome. It's not about how it looks to others. It's about how we feel, how we connect with our body, how we listen to our body. And every time I remember this last year, very cold winter, dark evenings when I was leaving my house to go and teach in this secret place because of Corona. That's another story. So I was like, oh, I don't want to go. And then every time the people pulled me out there, so they came to pick me up, for example, or we went together, or I met them there, and we just like, we had such a beautiful connection. And at the end, the feeling that you get after yoga, after the shavasana, is just so beautiful. It's really, really nice. And I like that you mentioned you do at least 20 minutes. I tell my students sometimes, even if you get 5-10 minutes in the morning and 5-10 in the evening, your body will be such a different body, because in the morning we need the stretch, like we get to move. It's before we drink coffee, before we think, before we sit down and work, because especially in Corona, everybody's working from home, like they have the office 2 meters away from the bed pretty much. So it's just so important to stay active. And I was going to ask you, what is your next step? Like I saw one, I think, post a video with your brothers doing yoga. So what's going on? Is everybody in Kenya now doing yoga?
So now I would like to share my brother's story. I know it's not mine, but I will share my brother's story. My brother Mohit, I know you saw him in the video.
Yes.
When he used to see me practice yoga, I used to ask him, why don't you join me today? And he'd be like, no, yoga is not my kind of thing. This is for women. I'm like, no, it's not for women. It doesn't really have a gender. Anyone can do yoga. Even your pet can do yoga. So he would never join me. So this was this year, when I started going for yoga classes at this place called Yoga Heart, which if you're in Kenya, you should definitely go there. The teachers there are amazing. You should definitely go there.
Is it in Nairobi?
And there's yeah, it's in Nairobi, and their story is also really nice. So I just forced him to join just one class. I was like, just come for one class and you let me know how you feel about it. So he came one fine evening, he joined me at the yoga class. And after the class, he just smiled, and I asked him why he was smiling. He says he feels so satisfied. He felt this satisfaction from the inside because he was struggling. I saw him struggling in class because I know that, like, with flexibility and everything, he struggles. I know that. But of course, this comes with practice, like I mentioned before. But he told me how he felt in his heart was just a different kind of calmness.
That's so
So
beautiful.
after that, he enrolled into the yoga classes, and he would, and I'm in Tanzania and he's in Kenya, and I'm so impressed. He goes there till today. He still goes every single day, and he might be moving to another country soon. And he was just telling me about his plans with yoga, and he said he wants to be a yoga teacher. I was so impressed. Yes, Lenka, you will not believe this coming from Mohit, but yeah. And I have seen his body changing. I am a witness because I know where he started from and where he is now. There is a huge change, and I am so impressed and proud of him.
Wow.
So yes, anyone can do yoga. You don't have to be flexible, but you have to start somewhere. Just start. That's all.
Yeah, every journey starts with the first step, doesn't it? So oh wow, I'm so stunned. I didn't know he actually got into yoga so much. So that's so great. I'm so pleased. Wow. And
Yeah.
what about your friend Jamila? Did she get inspired?
Okay. Jamila started yoga. She also liked it very much, but then she had like an arm injury, so she couldn't really go on with the whole yoga thing. But she said that if it's not physical, it's mental. So she does get the peaceful, the calmness in her head. But then because of her arm issue, she was not able to do, because mostly like where we practice, they do power yoga, and you have to use a lot of your arm strength. So that's why. But other than that, she was very happy about it, and she had a positive feedback.
Yeah, wow, that's so great. Wow, I'm so pleased. So I'm so happy to share your journey with everyone, and I really hope that everyone gets inspired. I mean, do you want to share? You don't have to, but do you want to share how old you were when you started yoga journey?
So I am 27 now. So when I started, I was 26. This was last year.
Wow.
And yeah, and you could be 40. Age is just a number, like they say. You could be 50. You can always start yoga. The place that I practice yoga in Nairobi, there are people who are like 50s, over 50s, and what they can do, I can't even describe it to you. So age should not be a barrier. You can start yoga. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter any other factor. If you know you should do this, just go for it.
Yeah, like when you have that calling, like, okay, now it's the time. Do you feel the yoga instructor is important? Do you feel like you get drawn to some instructors and some are not really your cup of tea?
No. Okay. I feel like all yoga instructors are good in their own way. There's
Mm-hmm.
no bad yoga instructor. There's nothing like that. But I would say that it's very important to have a yoga instructor, because I was self-learning like for a year. And then when I was doing that, I know that sometimes my alignment is not correct. But of course, like I wouldn't know when I'm wrong most of the times. So that way, the yoga instructor comes very handy to at least tell you about your alignment. And of course, if you have like a dream or to achieve a specific pose, example, you want to do a handstand, but then you've been trying for so many days or years and it's just not happening. And that's when the yoga instructor comes in and helps you and lets you know where you're going wrong and gives you tips like Lenka.
Yes, oh, thank you so much. And I would love to have you in my online yoga class, because I'm running also online classes, so it would be honor. I was just thinking or remembering actually the story of your brother, Puneet, who was so passionate. And we also met in India in two different places and times. Once was for Holi Festival of Colors in Maratha, and wow, that was great. And then the second time was actually in the capital of yoga, which is Rishikesh. And we spent about a week together there, and we did some meditations together, we did some Reiki. So he's also open up to many things. So you are so lucky to have these brothers in your life. But I remember the story that you have Indian roots, right?
Yeah. Interesting story. I've never been to India till today. I've never. And I tell myself one thing. The first time I go to India is when I want to take up my teacher's trainers course in Rishikesh, like you said. So in the coming year, I have a plan to go there. So maybe we should go there together.
We are going to go there together, because why not? I've also studied yoga in India, but there's so much I want to know, so much more. So let's make it a plan. Let's next time share our video of meeting up again. That would be so beautiful. And I'm sure people will enjoy the story that we share today, and I will share next time, because I'm so happy to have you on my online show podcast called Dear Lenka. So thank you so much for coming. Namaste.
Thank you.
And
Namaste. And whoever's watching, if you'd like to join us on this trip to India, please feel free.
we are
We'll
going
be
to,
happy to have anyone who's willing to join.
yeah, and I did these kind of trips. Like I just posted on my stories, like, okay, I'm going to travel to these places in India, and people just joined, and it was incredible. So it's totally possible and totally doable, and we are going to do it for sure. I am pretty positive. So thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. You're in Tanzania now.
Yes, I'm in Tanzania now.
Have a great evening, and thank you so much. I'll see you again.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.